Hello, Mayor Mendenhall. Casey.
Folks, we are streaming the live video. We'll convene the meeting as soon as we can at 6 o'clock, but we'll need a quorum. I talked to Don and Derek, Greg, and they were both planning to be here, so.
Derek said he's gonna be here. Do we have to have a quorum for here? Yeah.
Oh, good question.
I'm not sure for a public hearing.
Just says notice of hearing on the website.
That's all we have to hold is a public hearing based on the statute.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes before we can start.
Oh, sorry.
Did I give you the condition for this?
I might have just grabbed that off your book, to be honest with you. Stack there.
Oh, I see. This was
Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so I believe we can begin the hearing. And again, we are streaming, just for the record. And this is the hearing regarding the solar energy project in Newburg Township, Pivot Energy Pike Solar One LLC, siting permit application. And I am going to turn the meeting over to Greg Wyatt, our zoning administrator.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys making time to be here for this. As stated, we're here for the public hearing for a proposed commercial solar energy facility. The proposed facility will be located in the northwest quarter of Section 27, Township 5, South, Range 3 West, in Newburg Township on parcel number 53040-13B and parcel 53041-03B. The project will be approximately located at 42142 235th Avenue, Pittsfield, Illinois. As stated, Pike Solar One LLC is proposing to develop a 2.0 megawatt commercial solar energy facility on an 11 acre more or less tract on the aforementioned parcels at the aforementioned address. They are applying under Article 3, Section 3.4, Paragraph 1, Permitted Uses, Subparagraph H of the Pike County zoning ordinance. With us tonight is Lauren Gametti with Pivot Energy. I will just let her take over and give the presentation of the facility right now. The meeting will probably go as Lauren will give the presentation. There'll be some questions from the board And then we can open it up to public question or public comment. And then we will do the review of the application for its entirety and then go from there. I'd like to introduce Lauren Gilnetti from Pivot Energy.
Thanks, Ryder. I have a PowerPoint. Is there a way to project that?
I'm sorry, we don't have that
Okay,
capability with our streaming.
I see, okay. Well, you know what? I will take a run through it and maybe give some verbal description about what my slides may have shown. Okay,
If
cool.
you had a printed copy, I could make a few copies for,
I do have it, I have a PDF, I could email it, but I would have to email it
yeah,
over.
that,
Yeah.
that's okay, you go.
I apologize. Hello. Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to share our proposed project, Pike Solar One LLC. We are here to present a community solar project that aims to incorporate feedback sought during the development process. We want to be a thoughtful and intentional developer of long-standing partners to Pike County and the surrounding community. My next slide is just an introduction to who it is. Since this is Pivot Energy's first project in Pike County, I would like to provide an introduction to who we are. Pivot has been developing solar projects for 15 years since 2009 and is a national leader in small-scale solar projects. We are owner-operators of our projects. Currently in Illinois, we have over 20 megawatts in operation across Marion, Grundy, Kankakee, Clinton, St. Clair in the South, Edgar, Putnam, and Vermillion counties. We strive to set ourselves apart from other developers through our land stewardship, agrivoltaics practices, community engagement, and holding our projects and company to a higher standard. Pivot has been B certified for over 10 years, which means that we are required to meet certain criteria for company transparency and accountability. Pivot works to be a community partner, and our community investment program donated or pledged over $400,000 to local organizations in 2024. I will talk more about this later and look forward to speaking input on our community investment for this project. My next slide is just the site plan, including some more details about the setbacks and the location and siting. The project is well situated to take advantage of existing natural buffer and topography. The project is set back behind the existing southern tree line and combined with the gentle increase in topography from 235th Avenue will not be visible from the road. We meet or exceed all setback requirements in both the state siting bill and Pike County's siting ordinance. The project is set back over 550 feet from 235th Avenue, 300 feet from the nearest residence, which is located to the southwest of the project, and that is 2 times the required 150 feet for non-participating residents. Visual impacts are helped by that southern natural buffer already. The other non-participating residence directly to the west of the project has over a 500-foot setback. As shown on our site plans, Pivot is proposing the addition of vegetative screening on the proposed site plan between the naturally occurring wooded areas to the north and south to screen the project from the properties to the west. The 2 megawatt AC capacity is enough power equivalent to that used by over 420 homes annually. And lastly, our project doesn't require sewer, waste, irrigation, potable water, trash recycling, or natural gas. This is a high-level summary about our equipment and technologies. Pivot only uses Tier 1 panel manufacturers. The panels have a non-reflective coating to absorb sunlight and help prevent glare. We utilize string inverters rather than central units, and the project bracketing allows for single-axis trackers which move through the day following the sun from east to west. The standard practice is driven pile foundations, which require no concrete footing and therefore allows for easier decommissioning at the end of the project in accordance with our lease agreement and the fully executed agricultural impact mitigation agreement. Regarding interconnection, the line will interconnect to the grid via the distribution lines along 235th Avenue. I want to take a moment to discuss Pivot's sheep grazing and agrivoltaics practices. For this specific project, we will propose sheet grazing for the long-term vegetation management instead of traditional mowing to maintain the low-growth native vegetation after it is established on-site. Establishment usually takes a few growing seasons, and during that initial time, mowing will be necessary. Sheep grazing allows local farmers and shepherds the opportunity to expand their flock, and it honors the agricultural use of the property. It also maintains a dual use on the property for the solar project fund. The majority of pivot sites are dual use because they incorporate sheep grazing, beekeeping, and their pollinator habitats or crop production. We believe that these uses are collaborative, not competing, which is why we aim to and propose to incorporate them on all of our projects as allowed. Following construction, the project will be seeded with a mix of native grasses. This supports soil stabilization as the roots grow deeper, for example, turf grass, and these native grasses are compatible with sheep grazing if allowed. Prior to submitting our permit application, Pivot voluntarily reached out to neighboring properties and nearby landowners within an approximate 1,000-foot radius of the project. We mailed letters with introductory information about our proposed project and invited folks to come to an in-person open house style meeting to connect with us and ask questions about this project and solar in general. That meeting was held on June 17th, 2025 at the Courtyard Cafe in Newburg. No neighbors attended the meeting, and we have not received any other inquiries from our outreach. As is Pivot's development standard on every project that we build, we donate to local community initiatives. This is part of our commitment to develop projects that bring meaningful benefits to the communities in which we operate. We donate $5,000 per megawatt. So for this project, that amounts to a community donation of $10,000. We are actively seeking recommendations for 501c3 nonprofits that align with our pillars of land stewardship, reducing energy burden, and or workforce development that we can connect with and evaluate for this project's donation. Solar projects are subject to increased taxes. I have a slide that summarizes the anticipated increase in property taxes that the project will generate for the taxing districts as shown. The next thing I'd like to talk about is potential subscriber savings. So subscribers, which can include municipalities, school districts, water districts, and residences, for example, can save an estimated 10% off their utility bill by subscribing to a community solar project. For a residential home, this is between $9 and $10 per month based on the average household utility bill. Using residential homes as our example, that saves approximately $115 per year for a household. Based on the size and power generation for this project, that would equal annual savings on utility bills of $49,000 remaining in local folks' pockets. Subscribers must be Ameren, Illinois customers, meaning they are local to Illinois at a minimum, and even more localized because of Ameren's utility territory within the state. In closing, I want to summarize the overall economic, environmental, and community benefits of our proposed project. Pivot's project will offer locally produced American-made energy. Compared to the current property taxes, the project is anticipated to generate over 11 times the tax revenue in the 20-year lifespan for the community. Local municipalities, water districts, schools, and residences can subscribe to community solar projects and save an estimated 10% on their utility bills. An accumulated savings of $49,000 per year based on the power generation for this project that can remain in local economy. With our dual use agrivoltaics program, we partner with farmers, shepherds, and land use experts to honor the agricultural history and use of the property. For this project, that is proposed as sheep grazing to manage the vegetation under the tunnels. Additionally, Pivot's community investment commitment in one of the 3 areas of workforce development, reducing energy burden for land stewardship, donated to a local 501c3 nonprofit, is part of how we aim to bring meaningful development to the communities in which we operate. We hope we have shared details on our project that demonstrate respectful development to Pike County. Thank you for the time and the opportunity to share our proposed project with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to send copies of the slides just so you all have them after as well as part of just the documentation for today.
Thank you, Lauren. Any questions, remarks from the board? Not yet. Okay.
And you're welcome to pull up a chair and sit.
I'll do however y'all like to do this.
Whatever makes you comfortable.
I don't want to turn my house into either, so where do you prefer me to sit? Or stand?
Wherever-
Hang out here, that's okay?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great.
Right now, I think we'll just go ahead and get through the review of the application. This is sent, what I've done and what our third-party engineer has come up with. We'll go through that. Lauren can augment or have any comments as we go along, or any questions you might have towards her can be addressed at this time. Okay, number one, the site plan provided in Exhibit A does not fully satisfy the ordinance requirements. Some adjacent property parcel lines are not shown, some adjacent parcel numbers are not listed. Not all participating residences are called out. This has kind of been the trend a lot with our review, that most of the applicants that we've had before usually had a insufficient site plan. Nothing new. We've always let them revise and send back in on that point. Pretty straightforward.
If I
Yes, go
I
right ahead.
apologize about that, and I do have our team updating that as we speak, and we can submit that with the stamped version for final review again, with those corrections.
And some of it could be due to the application was prepared, CAD lines might not come through, show up through a copy or something, colors, weights, stuff like that. And like I said, this is something that I don't think we've had one that fully met the standard right off the bat anyway. Item 2, no road use agreement was submitted per section I of the ordinance. The applicant indicates they're in the process of coordinating a road use agreement with Newburg Township. Generally, that the road use agreement or that portion of it is submitted. We do know up front, this is just basically correspondence and the route that they will be traveling. Normally, we kind of have how many vehicles, what type of vehicles, number of vehicles, kind of a study like that done to present. And Lauren, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So we at this point have corresponded with Newburg Township as well as with the county highway engineer to reach an agreement on the proposed construction route. We do not yet have a road use agreement in place with Newburg Township, but we are amenable to that as a condition of approval, as well as to finalizing that with both the county and the township prior to submitting for building permit, if that's agreeable to the board and to Newburg Township.
Well, as we all know, road use agreements go have to be taken care of even before permit issuance. So that's one of those items that me and Lauren have talked about, is chicken or the egg. You got to have it, but what comes first? But we still, like what's been submitted in the past, we do have to know a little bit more detail. Item 3, the engineer certificate in Exhibit N does not specifically reference the Pike Solar 1 site, but references a general portfolio of sites. We just want clarification that the soil and soil types is site specific, and can meet the conditions and subsurface conditions for that area.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The intent of the engineer's certificate that we submitted was to demonstrate our commitment to the design requirements. That is from our structural engineer, and that typically occurs between siting and building permits. I did have the geotechnical report already for this project, so I have an updated engineer's certificate. They have now reviewed our geotechnical report, which is the site-specific soils information for this project, and I can submit the updated engineer certificate to Greg and y'all for review.
Item 4, several of the submitted documents, the decommissioning plan Exhibit D, noise report Exhibit M, and standard details Exhibit O are not signed by an Illinois professional engineer. That falls under Section P of the ordinance. This just basically states that Illinois professional engineer must stamp and sign these documents stating it's in accordance. Lauren, would you like to add on that?
Yes, please. I have the decommissioning plan with our engineer's stamp on it to resubmit, to correct that one, as well as, I think you may hit on the construction plans in Exhibit O a little bit as well. BPK is our design engineer for this project, and they will be doing a detailed civil set with their stamp as part of our building permit or pre-building permit submission. Our noise report was prepared by our experts on this topic, that they are professionals in their field, they're experts in their field. If you confirm with them, it's our understanding that that's not typically a professional engineer licensed document, but if that becomes a requirement, I'm happy to pursue that route. I also am happy to send over details about their qualifications as noise and acoustical experts for the board to review.
Thank you. Part of the technical review, the decommissioning plan, Exhibit D. The plan up against the AMA requirements, no items missing. Very good. I don't know if we've had that before. Number 2, the decommissioning total, excluding salvage of $467,700, appears to be higher than the values we typically have seen in other plans on a $1 per megawatt basis. Also good. But the plan does not include any contingency for unseen items. We typically recommend a 10% contingency to be provided. However, given the overall total is relatively higher on the $1 per megawatt basis, a reduced percentage or no contingency amount may be acceptable. Item 4, no costs are budgeted for county oversight, as the estimate is used to provide financial assurance for the county to facilitate site decommissioning in the event of default. Costs should be included which allow for the county to adequately direct and oversee the decommissioning process. We're going to recommend this cost to be 2 to 3% of the overall total cost. And this is something that we've had with every one of them. Generally, we haven't really had a decommissioning plan that myself or our engineers fully, agreed with. So, I mean, this is all typical. Last final thing, this is another one of those chicken or the egg. The plans submitted in Exhibit O are not issued for construction set of plans and specifications that would normally be utilized for construction. Prior to building permit, we will have to have the issued for construction plans.
We need that too.
Yeah, and like I said, this item isn't, it's chicken or egg or chicken, however you want to look at it. But that will be submitted and will be submitted prior to building permit.
If we could just go back to the decommissioning plan for a
Yeah.
second, Greg. I did have our existing plan that was submitted stamped, but I just wanted to get an indication from the board about how y'all would like to proceed with any edits. There are revisions that are required. If that contingency needs to be added in, I can absolutely get that added in. But just given some of the other comments, I wasn't exactly clear on what the edits at this point needed to be. Or if this is something that we would revisit at the 10 years of the AMA, and I think every 5 years thereafter, you can open this up for re-agreement, including the dollar amount and the financial assurance. So I wasn't sure if you wanted to do that now, or if you'd rather leave it now with the amount as is, and address this at the re-upping times.
What do you guys feel? I can't. I just serve it up.
Personally, I'd like to see 5% for unforeseen and 2% on the county share.
I think you're the last part.
So 2% on the county oversight.
And you want 5% for unseen, even though our total amount is higher than has typically been seen, is that correct?
That's just my opinion. You are closer than anybody's been,
Yes.
and probably overall the second best presentation I've seen.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that.
And I think the others we held to 10.
So,
I'd like to see all those requirements met before we, I'd like to see all the requirements met before we issue a site plan that you have listed there.
okay, well, going forward in the hearing, before we get there, we do have a pretty good audience with us. Like I said, if you want to make any public comments and sign in, I can call you forward. We can hear the comments or any questions or any concerns at this moment, or if you have any questions for Lauren or the board. This is the time to get it done.
Okay, I got some questions.
Would you like to sign
Sure. Why not? I'll be first again, I don't care.
in? John, are you on the lead? We can go out of order. Oh, no, sorry.
All right, you said you're giving,
I see.
Mike Burbridge, you said you're giving $10,000 in charities to the county, is that right? That's
To a local 501c3 nonprofit.
okay. And then, you also said, about sheep. Okay, is that something you charge for? Like if some farmer wants to bring their sheep out there, you're gonna charge them to raise their sheep on your land?
No. How it works is, as our operating maintenance for the project, we contract with the shepherd, to graze the area under the panel.
So you contract with a shepherd, local,
Hopefully local, if there's someone
I
that's
don't know,
interested, I would
shepherd
put them,
around here, I might be wrong.
I would put them in touch, I would put them in touch with our team that manages that scope of the work.
Okay, and then you also said that, 150 feet was the limit. Are there any data or medical or anything you can point me to that supports that, not being hazardous to people's health?
150 feet is the setback requirement in the
Right.
county ordinance and the state siting bill
Right.
for the non-participating residences. We are 2 or 3 times that off of the 2 non-participating
Well,
residences.
there's no kind of data that we can look at to experiment scientific things you want to talk about. Okay,
You can
All
find
right,
everyone
then-
on the internet. The closest non-participating resident is probably, I will estimate 400 feet away. The other one is roughly not 600, but we will say in excess of 500.
okay, and then you also said that when you bring your project, it brings up, land prices, right?
I do not say that.
As to, I thought you said something about it, adds value, property value.
I said that there are property taxes that solar projects are subject to. Pivot, as the developer and the project owner, pays those taxes, and because of how solar projects are taxed, they typically generate more tax revenue for the taxing districts than the standalone property taxes as it is right now.
Okay, how does that affect the neighbors around them? It doesn't change their property taxes?
I am not a tax assessor, I can't fix that.
So you can't tell me that if your project goes in and your property value goes up, your neighbor's property value might go up, might not? Therefore, they're gonna have to pay more in taxes because of your project? You don't know anything about that?
Well,
I don't know if there's any.
Well, I mean, you just think logically in line, you know, if my property value's up, my neighbor's property value goes up, keep our neighborhood clean, right? Right.
Anyone else? Yes, please come sign in, state your name, sign and print. Mike, if I get your print with you, after your signature, that helps.
My name is Whitley Yocum. I am the resident that is 400 feet away from the proposed solar panels. I didn't make the meeting, I didn't even get the letter, I would have attended and asked all these questions.
I'm sorry.
I didn't ever see it, but
Okay.
I just impacts my property greatly. Because as soon as you pull up my driveway, all you will see is solar panels. And then the transmitter box goes on my side. It's on the side relative to that. I've listened to it multiple times over. But
Oh,
it
because
is
they're
on the
not
side
using
where I
mics.
do this, so the sound, could that be moved? So it's not affecting the two homes that are on my property. I will double check our budget for you, but typically,
Could I interrupt just a second? And I apologize for this, but we're getting some feedback from people watching that they can't hear you because you're not using the mics. Would you mind just coming up here, and speaking into the mic? I apologize for the interruption.
I think a lot of the things that we need to talk about, we could just talk about.
Yeah, I would love to talk with you. I would love to talk with you about this, but I'm also here today and I'm happy to answer these questions for you as best I can now.
Okay.
I will double check, but we submitted a noise study. My recollection is that noise is typically constrained within the fence boundaries. There's no reportable limits beyond that boundary, that they should be in accordance with the ICPB limits. So I don't believe it would impact your home, but I will double check that information, make sure that I'm correct in that. I don't know at this point about moving them, but that is
Right.
something
No,
that we
and-
can look at.
Yes, yes. So the vegetation that's planted, I hope that it is dense enough to shield the panels, because again, the panels will be visible from all parts of my driveway, of my yard, right off my porches. I have pictures that would prove this.
Yeah, no,
And we are home 24/7, so, because my husband is home all the time too, and
sure,
we would be impacted just by the visual.
sure.
And
Yeah.
the construction.
Yeah, so what we like to do when it comes to the visual screening is typically get this feedback at our community
Right.
meeting. So I will look into where that mailer went because we did track them. And so I believe we had the delivery receipt, so I apologize. But I will make sure that you have my contact information today. It depends on how you like to see things. So we have received feedback on a lot of our projects, sometimes that community members want the panel screened, but they want to preserve the long-range views. So that might then not look like your standard evergreen big brick wall. It may look like some shrubs and some low-ranging, native grasses, and then some of those other things intermixed so that it blends into the natural scenery.
And that's fine.
So would love to get some input on that, and talk with you more about that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the only thing else is when I was going through your website, I was reading about the subscriptions, and they say that the
Yeah.
subscriptions are limited, but because my land is being impacted the most, would the homes on my property be guaranteed subscriptions to this?
I'm not gonna
Right.
promise
No, I know.
right this second, but absolutely, I would love to make sure that we can get you a subscription
Right,
to
because-
community solar so that you can see that discount.
Because you can't see the solar panels from the road, but you can see them from every point in my property.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. And you did it, you answered me.
Well, thank you for asking the questions today, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Please, before you leave today, let me just make sure that we trade our information. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any more public comment? John, would you like to speak? You're on the list.
Question, are we gonna vote on this tonight?
They have the right, the hearing, we'll go through the hearing factors here in a second.
I was just wondering if there, possibly vote on what's conditional.
If it's voted on, it will be conditional.
Correct.
Or we won't vote on it until they get everything in the ordinance taken care of. It'll be one or the other.
Right,
So
which they have to have everything clear before. Correct.
they would have to have everything complete as far as the ordinance requirements before a building permit would be issued.
I would just like to put these conditions out here. These are kind of our conditions of what we have put on some of the commercial solar energy facilities. And we do have the right to do that. The construction activity schedule. Since we are, there is homes, there is, everybody is we have homes, people can see stuff, people can hear stuff. That's why we put these conditions in to basically kind of reassure that construction activities or even land management activities are not going on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So construction activity schedule. During the calendar period between September 1st through May 31st, commence no earlier than 7 a.m. and cease by 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Saturday, commence no earlier than 7 a.m. and cease by 12 p.m. Sunday, no construction activities can be performed. During the calendar period from June 1st through August 31st, commence no earlier than 7 a.m. and cease by 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. Saturday, commence no earlier than 7 a.m., cease by 12 p.m. Sunday, no construction activities can be performed. Sunday construction could be granted upon emergency basis due to extreme weather events caused by project delays. This will be the discretion of the Pike County zoning and could be brought to a vote by the Pike County Board at the next available monthly county meeting. Construction or land management activities as related to the commercial solar energy facility. No burning of brush piles or burning activities of brush, trees, shrubbery, to be allowed on or near the site as related to construction or maintenance of the commercial solar energy facility. Routine maintenance of the commercial solar energy facility roughly falls along the lines of the construction. During the calendar period of September 1st through May 31st, commence no earlier than 7 a.m., cease by 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Saturday, commence no earlier than 7 a.m., cease by 12 p.m. Sunday, no routine maintenance activities can be performed. During the calendar period of June 1st through August 31st, commence no earlier than 7 a.m. and cease by 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. Saturday, commence no earlier than 7 a.m., cease by 12 p.m. Sunday, no routine maintenance activities can be performed. Do those sound applicable?
Yeah,
Okay.
we are amenable to all of those
Wonderful,
conditions.
wonderful. No, it's just to protect the
Yeah,
integrity, the.
Understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have heard that before, and that's totally fine.
I'm sure you guys have heard that in some shape or form, or, some way if you deal with projects and especially a lot of, populated areas.
Sure.
Any other comments? Hearing factors, we will go through them. The county board may approve a commercial solar energy facility permit application if it finds that evidence complies with the state and federal law and regulations and with the standards of this zoning ordinance, including the factors listed below. Do we need to go through the factors? We will. A, the establishment, maintenance, and operation of a commercial solar energy facility will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. The commercial solar energy facility will not be injurious to the uses and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property values of the surrounding properties. The establishment of the commercial solar energy facility will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties. Adequate public utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or will be provided. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. The proposed commercial solar energy facility is not contrary to the objectives of the current comprehensive plan of the county. And the commercial solar energy facility shall, in other respects, conform to the applicable regulations of this ordinance and the zoning district in which it is located, except as such regulations may be in each instance be modified pursuant to the recommendations of and approved by the county board. What we just went through, the permit conditions and restrictions. The county board may stipulate conditions, guarantees, and restrictions upon the establishment, location, construction, maintenance, and operation of the commercial solar energy facility, and as are deemed necessary for the protection of public interest and to secure compliance with the standards and requirements of this ordinance. Those are your factors. Those are what you base your decision going forward on.
It would be my recommendation that this board would wait until all factors of the ordinance are adhered to. And then Mr. Wyatt can ask the chairman of the board to put it back on the agenda to be voted on by the full board.
I'll second that if it's a motion.
It can't be a motion, yes.
I'm in concurrence.
We have a motion by Andy, second by Tom. Is there any discussion on it? Jim's voiced that he is in concurrence with it. Okay, not hearing any other discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Then, I don't know what kind of time frame we're looking at, but the plan would then be to put the project on a regular board agenda?
What we have done in the past is basically we're deeming the application incomplete. They will have time to supplement. One time we put kind of a limit on when to supplement, but as we know, things take time. It'll be the items that were listed that were not in compliance, or I wouldn't say not in compliance, that were unfulfilled, based on the zoning ordinance, those will be submitted, they will be reviewed, and then when we feel that everything is fulfilled or a minimal amount of contingencies are there, I will present it and put it on county board agenda.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
About the decommissioning plan and exactly what is needed to satisfy that condition?
Probably be better off if I can email that to you tomorrow.
That'd be great. I mean, I will get these things to you
Jim,
as soon as we can.
Mr. Shepherd, did you get the recommendation that
5% for unforeseen, 2% for county oversight.
was
But I
that?
don't know that that was
Yeah, I
determined.
don't know what the rest of them think. Just, I mean, you can go anywhere from zero, you can go with zero if they've got the highest percentage you've had, but.
And we can
You
just,
email tomorrow?
yes, yeah, we will, yeah, we'll email.
I mean, I'm gonna send all the stuff that I mentioned tonight is already rectified in our books. I just knew that it, in how Pike County proceeds, that it wasn't supplementable prior to tonight. But I do have a lot of those things ready to submit to Greg.
Well, that will shorten the time.
I hope so.
Yeah.
A lot of the items are easy fixes.
Great.
And Greg may have already told you our regular meetings are the fourth Monday of every month.
Will you be
At
having
7.
one in November?
We will,
Okay,
and December.
great.
I haven't looked ahead at December yet. Sometimes that's subject to change. I think one year fell on Christmas, so. But we'll have one right around there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thank you all for being here. Guess that concludes our, Greg, you're done, nothing else?
Nothing else. That's what we're here for. That's what we got through.
All right.
I appreciate you guys' time. I appreciate everybody attending.
Thank you. So that concludes our hearing on the solar project. Our regular board meeting will start at 7 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.
Did you sign? I want to get your page. You did? I appreciate that. The one I paid you for meeting in my never.
I got the about
Appreciate you showing
No problem. Here we go.
signing. Get your page.
Yes, I'm gonna shut it off when I restart it.
No, we're not. We're not.